Hello, Emmanuel Presbyterian. I'm Sarah Herndon, and I work with your mission partner, 5 Talents. Have you ever misplaced your cell phone? How much of your workday could you get through without a computer? These basic technologies help us complete so many daily tasks that it's hard to imagine what we would do without them. It's why we are so grateful that IPC's Endowment Foundation has granted us $2,500 to purchase 2 cell phones and 2 laptops for our program coordinators in Burundi. 5 Talents was originally conceived as a way to empower the global church to minister to communities living in extreme poverty. We seek to transform their lives through economic empowerment. We work in remote and vulnerable communities in the most fragile regions of the world, including Burundi, which is in East Africa. Working alongside the local church, 5 Talents programs teach men, and mostly women, basic business skills. Through our community savings groups, small pockets of neighbors meet together, learn how to read, write, count, make change, and ultimately help one another start small, sustainable businesses by offering each other small loans. There's accountability, trust, and community buy-in for these businesses to succeed. And because we partner with the church, there is always a faith community pointing members to the hope of Christ. New laptops will be a game changer for our field staff in Burundi. They'll be able to keep better and more secure records of funds, track data from savings groups, and write reports, which are important to accurately evaluate the program. Right now, our partners often use pen and paper to perform these tasks. New cell phones will also be used for data collection. Staff will have access to an app for conducting baseline surveys of new groups rather than relying on handwritten ones. All in all, this grant will strategically equip our partners and greatly improve communications so that this program continues to grow. Thank you for partnering with 5 Talents and helping us answer God's call to global mission.
Be the first people to live on Mars. Auditions today.
I gotta get this.
I really need this.
It's always been my dream.
If I could get the access screen.
They gotta notice.
I'm sure they'll notice.
I got desire.
Buy a higher.
This job is meant for me.
If I can only make them see. Life on Mars would be so charming.
Maybe just a tad alarming.
What can I say? Outer space is calling me. Calling me.
What if we just have a alien?
Who knows, there might even be Australian.
Like I said,
Outer space is calling me.
You're gonna want someone with space experience.
They'll need someone to report home.
Hey, garbage best friend.
They could use a little entertainment.
LFKE.
Life on Mars would be so charming.
I gotta think it beats out farming.
Outer space is calling me.
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 Hello and thank you to the Emmanuel Presbyterian Church community and your phenomenal impact on our developmentally disabled residents here in Fairfax County. I'm Maureen Gum, the Interim Executive Director with Langley Residential Support Services. I've been with the organization now for 14 years. Together with generous supporters like you, we provide essential residential and community support programs to more than 50 individuals with developmental disabilities. Our connection to Emmanuel Presbyterian dates back to the early 80s when your church joined 2 other McLean churches, Trinity United Methodist and the Lutheran Church of the Redeemer, to chaperone monthly dances held by the Ark of Northern Virginia. These church volunteers became concerned about what would happen to the young people with developmental disabilities and their parents or guardians were no longer able to care for them. Thankfully, there was clear action, and out of the discussions was launched Langley Residential in 1983, and the first group home was established in 1985. The spirit of concern and generosity continues more than 3.5 decades later, and we're tremendously grateful for the incredible grant from Emmanuel Presbyterian here in 2021. This outstanding gift of $2,500 builds on the kindness that your church community has contributed to Langley's mission and work. Amazing. Your grant funds have been activated immediately in carrying out our primary goal of helping people in their everyday activities and guiding them in more independent living, from cooking to housekeeping, managing personal finances, and engaging in wider community activities such as a workplace, book clubs, or church. We're grateful and blessed to be among the wonderful community causes that Emmanuel Presbyterian is able to support this year. Undoubtedly, this pandemic has put already stretched budgets beyond their limits, and every contribution counts. 1,000 thanks for keeping us going and being a committed partner in ensuring that our developmentally disabled neighbors and have that opportunity to live a rich, full, valued life. Thank you.
This is a report about the IPC Endowment grant to the Presbyterian churches in Cuba. The current situation in Cuba is a country that's been hit by a perfect storm. COVID has caused the Cuban churches to be closed to in-person worship. Therefore, collections are down. The U.S. sanctions have been imposed on trade with Cuba for decades, but they were substantially tightened under Trump and as yet have not been relaxed much under Biden. This has limited imports from the U.S. and increased the barriers that individuals and organizations in the U.S. face in sending money to Cuba, thus contributing to increased poverty. Cuba has a two-currency system which kept domestic prices artificially low. This year, the currencies were unified, which has led to rampant inflation in the price of many basic consumer goods and utilities, and it has quintupled the minimum wage, which must be paid to all workers, including church staff. So what will the grant do? The Special Projects Committee approved a $2,500 grant on March 25th. The grant is to the Synod of the Presbyterian Reformed Church in Cuba. However, due to the sanctions, the funds cannot be sent directly to Cuba. They have been dispersed to the U.S.-based Cuba Partners Network, which is an association of Presbyterian churches under the aegis of PCUSA. Cuba Partners Network will soon transfer the funds to the Synod, which in turn will support the topping up of salaries of pastoral staff to meet the new minimum wage mandate, the preparation and distribution of printed communications of the individual churches for the benefit of their parishioners, the purchase of food and supplies for needy parishioners, and there are many needy parishioners given the dire circumstances, and for subsidies to synod activities such as children's camps and operational costs at the One Presbyterian Seminary. The grant funds will be commingled with other funds that the Cuba Partners Network has raised, totaling more than $75,000. It is expected that the Synod will allocate all the funds to its member churches before the end of the year, given their dire circumstances. And thanks very much.
Greetings, Emmanuel congregation. This is Joanne McTague at the Yellow Door Foundation. I just wanted to thank you so much on behalf of our whole organization for your continued support of our mission. In case you don't know, I started Yellow Door almost 4 years ago now to fill a really great need in our community, and that was lack of affordable lodging for families who come here from all over the state with very sick children. So we started in February of 2018, welcomed our first family, and since then we've provided over 3,200 free room nights for families of primarily cancer and transplant kids, those immunocompromised kids who really need a special place to stay that's not communal living. And I'm thrilled to say that recently we opened our 5th apartment, this time our first 3-bedroom, which will allow us to accommodate larger families and get us halfway to our goal of 10 total apartments. This year, Emmanuel coupled with another partner of ours to provide flooring, specialty paint, and furnishings to help us create the safest environment that we can for these kids and ensure the best outcomes. Emmanuel contributed money to our Dreamer apartment, which has actually been up and running since 2018, has hosted 18 families, and needed a little bit of spiffing up. So we thank you for your help with that. And a special shout out goes to Betty Busey, who has been sponsoring that apartment since its inception. We are just so grateful. So anyway, we'd love to welcome any of you who'd like to come see us in person. Thank you so much for your support, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.
McLean Cares purchases meals at local restaurants and gives these meals free of charge to neighbors in need. Our goal is simple: to support locally owned businesses during COVID-19 by purchasing meals and distributing them to Fairfax County residents. Through partnerships with 14 locally owned businesses, McLean Cares now distributes between 870 and 970 meals each month to our neighbors experiencing food insecurity, while putting over $10,000 per month back into the local community to support restaurant workers. The McLean Cares planning team, comprised of members of Emmanuel, including Leslie Reagan and Sue Henry, as well as Karen Hendrickson from Temple Road of Shalom and Augusta Nade from Lewinsville Presbyterian. Together, this dedicated team and our partner congregations like McLean Baptist fundraise month to month in the community to support this continued effort to stop hunger and support business. This community partnership initiative, created by Emmanuel's own Community Service and Action Committee in the summer of 2020, would not be possible without the generosity of Emmanuelites. Through last year's virtual auction, through generous individuals donating, as well as through connections to civic and business donations, through partnerships like McLean Community Foundation grants and Chainbridge Bank's generosity. This incredibly generous grant support from Emmanuel's Endowment will allow McLean Cares to purchase over 330 meals this month, to provide generous tips for restaurant workers in making those purchases, and will allow us to distribute 330 nutritious and delicious meals to our neighbors in need during COVID-19. Thank you, Emmanuel, for working together to stop hunger and support business. Amen.
We're always looking for ways to improve the quality of life of residents at Chesterbrook. One of those ways would be to provide gardening equipment for their use. We'll take a brief tour through part of the building to give a sense of what we have in mind. Just inside the main door is the lobby. It's kind of deserted right now because of the effects of COVID-19. Straight across from the lobby is the entrance to the inner courtyard. The building is constructed like a quadrangle so that the courtyard is an open air section in the middle. Our proposal is to place 2 raised planters and 1 gardening table in this area for everybody's use. The area is very popular when the weather is nice. In addition, you can see that about 40% of the apartments overlook the courtyard.
Hello, Emmanuel. My name is Elizabeth Lodel, and I want to thank you for what the Endowment has done for our new nonprofit, EduTutor VA. This was the result of a brainstorming session, frankly, with Senator Warner, who was thinking early in the pandemic about his concern for our young people who were falling behind at the elementary school level, and for those kids in college who were losing internships and jobs. And so a group of us who were on this call decided that we could do something about it, and we created EduTutor. 4 of us are lifetime educators, 2 are delegates from the General Assembly, and we have background across the state. We're not only helping the children in these schools, but we are training, we hope, the next group of teachers in our school by using only education students from George Mason University and Northern Virginia Community College. What you are giving to us will allow us to have our first tutor summer training workshop for the tutors who are returning from this year and the tutors we want to recruit for next year. So thank you for everything you've done for us. We greatly appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Amanda Pardo.
And I'm Emily Lewigs.
And we are the leaders of Emmanuel's new Green Team.
The mission of the Green Team is to lessen Emmanuel's impact on the environment through community service projects, as well as changes within Emmanuel, such as replacing all single-use plastics with reusable options.
We have already begun working on community service projects, such as the stream cleanup we organized a few weeks ago at Pemmon Run. Volunteers cleared many bags of trash and glass out of the creek. We are also in the process of adopting a highway to clear litter from and maintain. We will also put all volunteer opportunities in the bulletin if you are interested in getting involved.
Along with these community service projects, we are also working to make changes within Emmanuel to be more earth-friendly. We are conducting a survey of Emmanuel's environmental impact to identify areas that need improvement in sustainability and applying to be an Earth Care congregation with the PCUSA. We will be working to improve on the 4 categories outlined in the PCUSA application: educational awareness, sustainable facilities, worship elements, and outreach opportunities.
Although we have a good foundation to work from, we are very excited to keep improving our overall sustainability and are very thankful for this opportunity. Keep a lookout for service opportunities in the bulletin, and thank you for watching.